Good evening. It is Friday.
Jay.
On the East Coast, it is Friday.
Oh my goodness. I was about to say, Jay, it is not Friday. I guess it's Friday at home.
It is Friday at home. The hurricane has made landfall. It is now in Georgia. It is moving like a freight train right now.
Get out of there then.
Yes.
So Jay, let me ask you a quick question before we get started here.
For sure.
When it comes to hurricanes, is that what we want? Do we want them to just like blaze right on through, or?
Well, realistically, we don't want them to hit at all.
Okay.
And this one, in Orlando, I've popped on my ring cameras, and it hasn't looked too bad there.
Yeah.
Looked at the radar. It's between bands, and we're doing pretty well at home.
Yeah.
But there are parts of Florida that are devastated.
Oh.
And first light in the morning is going to show a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And last night when we talked, it was like 50 miles on the west side of Tallahassee. Today, it actually hit close to 50 miles to the east side of Tallahassee.
Yeah, wow.
So, very different area that it was hitting. And, last I looked about 20 minutes ago, it was almost to the other side of Valdosta, Georgia.
All right,
So,
wow.
it's moving.
Yeah, making some moves.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, before we get started then, I hope everyone out there has been safe. If you were in that area, I hope you got bunkered down or out of there altogether and evacuated. And for those of you who don't know, this is On the Rocks, the show where we talk about accounting and accounting-related stuff, mostly as it comes to e-commerce, but not only, like we were just talking about hurricanes, which can impact e-commerce, but that's not what we do our best to talk about accounting-related stuff. We is me, I'm Chris. He is Jay, but he's right there, so that's confusing. And we're going to be
Chris,
here. Yeah.
Right there.
Right there. We're going to be here with you tonight for a little while to talk about some of the things that we've been doing here this week with High Rock, to talk about a little bit of things that we've seen in the news over the past week or so, because last night we didn't talk about much news. And then we'll just kind of see where it goes. You got us late in the evening after a drink or two, so we could end up talking about anything. We'll see where it goes. I wanted to start because I did some searching. I did some news searching because I like to be well prepared, right? And one of the things that I just saw in e-commerce news, there is a bakery that has remodeled its marketing process to enhance its customer experience using AI techniques and strategies to try to fit people with the right cupcakes is what it looked like, which is really, really wild to me. Like the application of technology in e-commerce is like pretty obvious. Like there's a lot of ways you can do it, but I never really thought about that it can extend to cupcakes. And so it was interesting to read that there's this like you're just kind of touching everything. Jay, I know we both love technology. When you think about like targeted marketing and how that marketing can improve businesses, and especially in the e-commerce space, like I know there's lots and lots of marketing that happens right now, right? There's lots of payment and spend that happens in social media and those types of spaces, right? How do you think AI and other like advancing technologies are going to make that better or going to make that worse?
That's interesting because I was thinking, how is this going to work? But if you could put a client profile into AI, and find out, based on these factors that we know about this client, what is going to be the cupcake that's going to hit them the closest?
Right. Yeah.
And maybe it's flavor profile, maybe it's design, maybe it's size. There's no telling. But if you could get that information and target that via advertising, you're gonna hit.
Right. And so the efficiency that you might be able to gain through utilizing technology in this way, like, can maybe be like significant, right? And so So I think that that's a thing that we've been talking about here with High Rock, right? Is how can we utilize technology in a way that helps us to be able to target properly and expand and increase and improve our own efficiency. So it's interesting again that like it's going to touch everything, and it has lots and lots of positive use cases. I think, Jay, I haven't really given it much thought, but are there downsides to using AI in this way, or using that kind of technology to help with customer profiling in that way?
Well, if you don't have your prompts correctly, it can well go in very wrong direction very fast.
Yeah.
I think if you have it toned in or dialed in or whatever I was thinking of there, I don't know. But if you have it dialed in, you're gonna get you should be able to get the right direction.
Yeah.
And you should be able to get good results, get a good ROI out of it.
Yeah. And so if that's not something that your marketing team is thinking about already, I mean, it should be, right?
For sure.
That's an easy advice point. It's something that you'll want to incorporate because it is true that if the more data and information that you have, the better decisions that you can make.
But let's face it. I mean, the marketing functions are some of the best functions to use ChatGPT and other AI
absolutely.
for right now.
Yeah.
It's the I don't want to say the simplest, but it's the more simple application.
Right.
It's not like you're having it do financial analysis and spitting out reports.
Right, doing math.
Right. So definitely lean on it and test it and play with it.
Right.
See what kind of results you're going to do. Do some A/B testing with it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Man, there's a lot of you will. I think that even just having this short conversation,
for sure.
From Cupcake research, what that's indicated to me is that this is a topic that we're going to need to talk about a little bit more and a little bit more in depth.
For sure.
With a little bit of extra thought around it, leading into that conversation. AI can really be helpful for you. Be thinking about it. One of the other articles that I read, Adobe Analytics has done its analysis, its studies, its predictions. I'm not sure exactly how Adobe Analytics works in that way, but they're anticipating $280 billion of online holiday sales, and on top of that, and I'm looking at my phone because that's where the article is. They're also expecting discounts of around 30% on products. And so I thought it was interesting that, number one, that Adobe Analytics has all of this information. That I know a lot of companies use Adobe in one way or another, and especially in marketing. I think the Adobe Pro platform is really, really powerful. And so 280 billion seems like a big amount, which means that folks are needing to be prepared, right? You need to be ready to go as it comes to getting those products out the door, because it is time for that already. And then the 30% discount thing was also interesting to me. I don't know what a typical holiday discount is. Jay, do you have a typical holiday discount that you're looking out for?
I don't, but it sounds like it's going to be great sales this year. I mean, for the consumer,
right?
Picking up those deals on products.
So that's definitely something that I think is really, really interesting and really, really something to be looking forward to, right? Because if your competitors are all cutting the prices of their products by 30%, that can have a big impact on you as well. And so part of me wonders, like, how much does Adobe Analytics influence the overall market in that way, right? They've said, hey, we anticipate this.
Yeah.
Is that because of historical trends, or is that because of something else, or is it going to be a leading indicator because now people that are using Adobe Analytics are like, oh yeah, all right, 30% off, that's pretty regular, let's do that. So which one's the chicken and which one's the egg?
And I'm curious, is any of that connected to the Adobe Commerce platform?
Could be.
Which, they probably got some data from that.
Right.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to find that out.
Yeah, and so Jay, I don't know, and I feel like you might be a better resource for this. At what point are you settling on your holiday pricing? Are you doing that right now?
I think you're at least doing the market research right now and seeing
Yeah.
what the competitor products are doing in the market and seeing where to price them.
Right.
Now you might not know where your competitors are pricing at the moment.
Yeah.
So it might be a last minute scramble and working with the retailers and the e-tailers to get the right pricing on the products.
Yeah. No, and so lots to do in that regard, and lots of ways to think about it for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, so those are the things that I saw in the news. Jay, I know you. I might put you on the spot here. Did you do any research since yesterday?
Did I do any research? No,
Yeah.
I was watching the hurricane, making sure my family was okay.
Yeah.
And
that seems pretty reasonable, Jay.
And also, we were working here. I mean, we were actually getting some shit done today.
That is true. Today we talked a lot about, like I mentioned yesterday, the purpose of this High Rock retreat is to get our whole team together to talk through strategy for the firm for going forward. Right? We're talking about what we want to be, who we want to be, and how we want to be it. And today was tightening up exactly those steps that we want to take going forward. And who's going to be responsible for them. So you're like typical basic planning, which I think makes actually for a good time for a history lesson, because here we are again today at the High Rock retreat. Right, it's late at night. It's 10:40 Pacific time, or Mountain time, or whatever we are, Arizona time, which is currently Pacific time, and we're just talking about accounting stuff, right? And that's actually how this whole entire process came to be in the first place. 2 years ago was the first High Rock retreat that I had ever been to.
Same here.
Wait, you weren't there. You weren't there 2 years ago. Not last year, 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Haven't been to three? Haven't been to three? This is my fourth
This is
one?
my third.
This is your third?
Yes.
This is my fourth?
Yeah.
Holy shit. So three... the time flies. So... Again, is that right? Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right, well, there you go. Shocking news. Breaking news. Been with High Rock longer than I thought. 3 years ago... 3 years ago was the first time I was at a High Rock retreat, and I was there. I had probably had a couple Oktoberfests, and I got to talking to one of my coworkers at the time about ASC 842, because they were like, "Why do we even have to do this? What's the point? What are we even doing here?" And so I sat on the couch for probably like an hour and a half, just talking about ASC 842. And then the next day we had a different conversation around something else. And we called it drunk accounting, right? Because I probably had several Oktoberfests. And really just got to talking about accounting related topics. The next year, Jay came. And Jay and I realized very quickly that we liked talking about accounting related topics together, and so we did it again. We sat there together. We talked about I don't even remember what it was. We talked with Brandy the one night about marketing strategy. We talked with Liz for a night, just kind of broadly.
Origin stories.
Yeah, origin story. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I asked all the questions about how did people get to where they were. So we did this whole we did a whole conversation series effectively on what were people's paths to get to High Rock at the time. And then the next year we really tailored that in and narrowed it down, and we had a conversation with our friends at A2X. Jeff and Amy came on, and we talked specifically about marketing strategy, and talking through what that could mean for us and all of those types of things, some real strategy building stuff. But what Jay and I learned over that time was we really enjoyed doing that, and we really enjoyed doing it together. And so that whatever it would be, 2 months later in January, we started doing it every week. And that's how we got here. And so the High Rock retreat and the late night conversations around accounting related stuff is our origin story.
That's it.
That's how this came to be a thing. And I know at least I've enjoyed it ever since.
It's always fun doing it in person. You know, it's just there. You know, we connect through the system and I bring you into the platform and here we are.
I point to you. Virtually, right? Yeah, you know, like it's much easier when you're right here, right?
For sure.
And then the conversations can be that much more personal too, because we are right here together. So this makes for a very unique time, because then it's easy too, because we can set stuff up, leave it here for a time, and then come back to the same spot the next day like we've done today. So I think that's at least for me a fun little history lesson on the rocks, and where it came from, and my expectation of kind of like where we're heading to is because we're gonna continue to do this. We enjoy doing this, and we enjoy getting together to have these conversations. Jay, I know I just talked a lot there, but like what extra thoughts, what extra feelings do you have around around the history lesson?
No, I mean it's been great, and I think the first time we did this together,
right?
I had prompted you with some inventory questions.
Oh, that's right.
And I knew all the answers.
Yeah, it was a test.
It was a test, and it was fun. It was a great conversation.
Yeah.
Which led to another conversation.
Right.
And the first one was not on camera. It was just in a room, just having a conversation.
Right.
And then we said, we need to, let's get this on film.
And here we are.
We did, yeah.
30-something episodes
For
later.
sure.
And still talking about inventory.
And still talking about inventory.
Fucking cupcakes. Or hurricane relief inventory or whatever it is. All kinds of different stuff like that. It's wonderful. Jay, as you think about the strategy that we've talked about here over the past week with our High Rock teammates, I know one of the things that we're like focused on is continuing to effort our marketing work, right? To tailor our marketing strategy.
For sure.
How do you think On the Rocks fits in? Like how effective do you like? What do you see as the vision for what we're doing next?
Well, I think that maybe we tailor our content a little different.
Sure.
We cover a lot of accounting news, and e-commerce sellers might not care about that. So we might actually switch it up and do 2 broadcasts.
Oh.
Do an accounting channel related one.
Right.
And then come in with some heavy hitting e-commerce topics.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Really start driving that in, and don't count out possibly us having guests on as well at some point.
Yeah,
so,
right. Well, and
it's always fun.
Right. Yeah, and we've been lucky to be able to partner this year with a lot of the vendors that we hold dear. Our who's Ramp, right? And our folks at Ramp have helped us out, and so we love talking about their products. Our teammates at Keeper, we've been working really closely. Actually, some of our biggest goals over the next year involve Keeper, so we're really looking forward to using them a little bit more. Obviously, we'll start that all with the platform at 0, and then we our banking partner Crescent. Like we're so appreciative of all of the different programs and partnerships that we have, and so I think like you're talking about, Jay, we're gonna find an opportunity for these folks to be able to talk about their stuff and go through that same roasting that you put me through that was a couple years ago about. All right, so Ramp, tell me a little bit more about why your product is so great for e-commerce sellers and in the e-commerce space.
Well, and we actually did a show regarding
Ramp.
paring down your tech stack and even your bank accounts using Ramp, and it's a great product. We use it with our clients. We use it internally.
Yep.
And can't say enough about it.
Right. Absolutely.
I also want to mention AdaX because they've sponsored us this year as well.
Yeah.
And just want to throw a shout out to them. If you were watching last night,
I had my
Chris had his AdaX bucket hat on.
my favorite hiking hat. And obviously, 8X is one of the best products that even exists in the e-commerce space because of how impactful it is to the accounting support for e-commerce sailors. Like the the payouts that you get from Shopify and from Amazon can be a hot mess, and if you don't have a good method for making sure that those are happening correctly, then your accounting records aren't going to be great. And so, of course, 8X is a huge tool that we like to use and that we want to continue to use more.
Yeah, let's not forget about their reconciliation tool too.
Yeah,
make sure that everything is flowing over correctly.
Yeah, it's super big help. And super great. So again, I'm sure we will use this space to talk about those same products more and more. I'm sure. Because there's so much technology in the e-commerce space and so many different products that you can utilize and that can help make your business better. That in our On the Rocks e-commerce branded version of the podcast going forward, we'll talk about those things and how they can help you, and as well as the e-commerce related news and other like advancements that are happening in the e-commerce space. Jay, like we talked about kind of at the top. We have no idea what we were going to talk about today. We didn't really have an agenda, so it's a free-flowing conversation. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind?
Yeah.
Well, it was a long day. We covered a lot of topics.
Right.
And what is you probably know, we talked about my passion for making pizza.
Oh yeah.
And so I made dough on Monday night.
Yeah.
And we actually made some pizzas tonight and had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
And apparently, it went over pretty well.
Apparently is not the right way to say that. This pizza was so fantastic. It might have been the best pizza that I have ever had. And I have had a lot of pizza.
That way, come on now.
I've also, I'm not gone to what's the like capital of pizza? Is New York the capital of pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've not gone to New York and had pizza, but I've had a lot of pizza. It was so good that it's choking him up.
Damn COVID. It got me again.
Mm-hmm. But no, the pizza was really, really quite good. The dough that Jay made up was nice and crispy on the edges. But still the right kind of chewy. And then the tomato sauce that the team whipped up, I'm not gonna like claim that I had any hand in it because I didn't. But the tomato sauce, oh yeah, it was crispy. Hey, good job by you. the tomato sauce that Christy put together, the seasonings and flavorings that were in there, man, it's just
a little bit of heat in there. It was pretty good.
Perfect. That's the way. That's like the way I would design a pizza. So it was pretty fantastic. And Jay and I got to like do one, just the two of us. Pizzas weren't like very big, right? But that being said, like, how many did you do, Jay? Did you do 10?
There were 10, and I believe there were 7 dough balls left over.
Yeah. So we experimented with a lot of different varieties, kind of the same way that we'll experiment with different flows and iterations of this conversation and this show going forward. So, making pizza dough and enjoying the pizza, big fan of that.
And then in the middle of that, we were working with our teammates on their prospect pickup lines. That elevator speech that you have to learn, your elevator pitch, excuse me.
Uh-huh.
And they caught me in the middle of it, and they wanted me to run through it. And so I jumped in there and started out. And
hey, Jay, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
What is it that you do, right?
Yeah, so I help e-commerce business owners achieve fuck.
Yeah.
And I was thinking pizza, and all of a sudden a pizza was burning or about to burn. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. Which I don't know. I'm not sure that's quite the picture you're looking for, right? Maybe it'll get you there. Maybe.
Maybe in a different industry.
Maybe in a different industry. And so And so the possibility exists that we'll start to make this a recurring segment on the show of prospect pickup lines, and we'll talk through talk through different ways that we might approach people, run them by each other, and see what we think.
But you know, one of the things that we're doing is we have team members that are now going out to conferences and events, and you know, they are advisors, so they need to know how to
pick up clients,
pick up prospects, tell prospects what to do.
Yeah, it's a really important thing, and it's probably a little bit underrated too of how important and how valuable it is to be able to concisely say, like, this is what I do, and I know that from my own experience because I'm horrible at it. You would think that I'd be pretty effective at being able to be like, I do X, but I've really struggled because I want it to be perfect. I want it to be just amazing, and I still haven't figured out quite the right way to do it. I'm a business advisor, right? I love helping business owners to use their financial information to make like really, really good and really effective decisions, right? And maybe a short sentence like that of just telling it from the heart, right? Maybe that's the way to do it. I do think that like when you think about your elevator pitch, right? You want it to have some feeling in it. Like, you don't want it to be dry. You don't want it to be boring. You don't want to be like, I'm gonna go out and like that. That's not fun. And you want it to be, but you want it to be interesting, right? Like, you want someone to ask you a question after, right? I think that's kind of a core piece or a core thought about that elevator pitch, right? You want it to be something that inspires that person that you're talking with to want to know more about you, and so a lot of times, especially when I'm in a room with a bunch of accountants, it's really difficult to describe because I've done a lot of the thinking more on like, okay, what would I tell a prospect? But what would I tell an accountant? I don't need to tell them that I help business owners do cool stuff in their business. Like, that's not, they don't care about that. They want to know a little bit more detail. Like, they want to know that, I'm an outsourced CFO. I use the business information that we all have as accountants, right, to provide that interpretive guidance, and so I think it is. You would think that it would be easy, right, to just be like, yeah, this is what I do, but it's so much more complicated than that, and so that's exactly why we were practicing it here. That's exactly why we were asking the people on our team to like take the time to tell that story, because it's not a story that that's going to be the same every time, because it depends on your audience and it depends on the people that you're talking with, and it's probably going to evolve, because as you gain more experience and as you gain more knowledge, the answer to that question of what you do is going to be refined a little bit, and so that's exactly one of the things that we spent time working on today is what's that sales pitch look like? What does that value proposition look like? And it's fun because you get to hear people talk about that. You get to have extra conversations around that, and I definitely think that we can continue to do that going forward to talk about how sometimes you can fail, and it might be really bad, and sometimes maybe it's not as bad as you thought. What do you think, Jay?
Well, it's almost not natural for us accountants to do some of those
things.
That's
so true, yeah.
So, I remember when I started doing the accounting thing on my own, and I needed to market it, and I joined a networking group, and they're like, welcome, you're a new member, so you get double the time to tell us what you do.
Oh, yeah, all right.
And I was sitting back down in 15 seconds. And those things.
Jay, I'm an accountant.
There you go.
I'm right over here.
Yeah, no, actually, I said more than that, but it was like 3 times the speed.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. There you go.
But over time, you get better at it.
That's right.
And best thing to do is just keep doing it.
Right, and that's exactly why you want to practice it around your coworkers and your peers, so that you don't embarrass yourself too bad when it really comes to be crunch time. And so I think, like I said, Jay, I think that'll be a fun little thing to do here is to talk through those, to make it maybe once a month or something to talk through whatever prospect pickup lines. God,
there you go.
Can't remember the name. It's such a good name though. Thanks, Liz. What else that we've accomplished this week is something that you'd be excited to share with
well, I'm excited that we have put together a list of rocks, and rocks are goals.
Right.
If you follow Traction or EOS. So we have a list of rocks, and they've been assigned, and now we're going to be tracking it, and it's exciting stuff.
Yeah. I mentioned to Liz while we were here that I think that getting the team together to talk through that strategy can be so important. And it's just like I mentioned yesterday, and like we've been talking about for months. The middle of the year is a great time to have those strategy conversations, to really make sure that your team and the people that are working with you and around you are aligned and ready to go, heading into Q4, heading into 2025, and by being able to set goals and to identify the things that your team wants to improve on and wants to do together, you send all the fish in the right direction, right? So instead of people working in opposite ways, everybody is going in the same way, and the idea of traction is exactly that, right? You start to head people in the same way, and as you do that, you gain traction. The whole exact idea, and so that makes me really excited for the next year here at High Rock, because we now have the really good start of that traction. And so I'm sure that while we're talking here today, and while we're talking about different things that we may be doing, it's not all you're going to hear from us at High Rock. Where there's going to be other areas that you'll see us too. I'm sure we're going to be out and around at conferences. I'm sure we're going to be in our local networking groups, and we're going to be practicing that elevator speech on people all around the world to get better at it, to make sure that we're telling you all about the value that you can get by using High Rock, and then of course all the cool people that you can work with, all the J's and me's, like all the folks that can be the people that you talk to about accounting.
The J's and me's, huh?
The J's and me's, which not really sure. J's and Chris's, yeah, the J's and Chris's, the everyone on the team. So it should be a super exciting year for High Rock going forward, and that means that it should be a super exciting year on the Rocks. What else, Jay? What other things are you excited about?
Honestly, I'm excited to start heading home.
Yeah,
I haven't been home in a while.
Right. Oh my gosh, you told me.
Looking forward to getting home and spending some time with my wife. My daughter's actually home from college because of the storm.
Right.
And we're actually heading to her college on Saturday.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's what's it, the family weekend? Or
yeah, it's family weekend.
Yeah. So it's been a long time since I was in college, and I don't really remember a family weekend. Is there like an agenda, an itinerary? What are we talking about here?
There are a lot of events, a lot of things that you can do with the school or do on your own. And for us, we're going to go up there and actually, my wife is going up tomorrow, and I'll be meeting them up on Saturday. But
okay.
They would have attended a class, but they went virtual for tomorrow because of the storm.
Right, sure.
But I don't know. I'll let you know. It's my first parents or family weekend.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's absolutely right. So despite the fact that you're going back home, you're not really going
I'm
back
not really
home.
going.
Yeah.
No.
So hopefully next week will be a week where you can spend the whole week in your own bed. I know I will also be excited for that, because it's now been basically 3 straight weeks away from home for me as well. So I am looking forward to getting back there as well.
Yeah, and as I pointed out yesterday, I thought I said 20 days left in tax season.
Uh-huh.
Well, I believe today's 19 now. I think my math is right.
Yeah. Okay.
So we checked off a couple of those returns today. So
let's go.
That number's dwindling, and looking forward to getting this season over.
I can only imagine. My weekend plans are not all that interesting at all. But again, it's the first weekend that I'll be home in a while, really. Where I don't have to head out back the next week, right? So I'm looking forward to following my fantasy football teams, to seeing what's going on in the fantasy football space. I got a couple that are still not a couple. I have one that's still 3-0. So we're gonna hope for the best from that. And then I probably have some work to do in the garage. So we had ordered some shelving units and all that kind of stuff for the garage, and got those got a lot of that back before, but I don't know if you've ever ordered anything from the Container Store, but when you're ordering some of those products, it takes a little while for them to get there. So some of those came in like a couple days before we left, and we didn't pick them up yet. So I'm gonna have to pick those up this weekend and get the garage all finished up and tidied up so that we can use it the way that we intended it for it to be. But overall, I think it's going to be a nice family weekend for us as well, and that should make for a relaxing enough weekend anyway. What else, Jay? Anything more? I think we touched a lot of topics.
We did.
I think it's definitely late now. It's now it's Friday in Utah, so it's getting to be Friday. It's going to be Friday everywhere.
Yeah.
Which means that it's probably time for us to be getting to sleep, so that we can travel tomorrow nice and well rested.
For sure.
So if you're in the path of that hurricane, be safe out there. And then I think we're back on the regular cadence going forward, right? Yeah. So you'll see us on For Real Friday. Not tomorrow, but maybe not. Probably not tomorrow. Yeah, probably not tomorrow. But a week from tomorrow, we'll be back on that weekly cadence to come to talk to you about e-commerce and accounting things for now, until we get that spinoff all figured out. So thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for watching the show, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye.